Well, let's pick up the conversation now with Liberal MP and Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Health, Yasir Naqvi. Mr. Naqvi, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Michael.
So, we heard Mr. Long, and obviously he's a bit distraught that after going through this, the group that raised concerns about the Prime Minister's leadership have really heard nothing from Justin Trudeau or I guess his team. Do they deserve a response from the Prime Minister?
Well, I can't speak on behalf of the Prime Minister, but to say we had a very thoughtful conversation in the caucus, and I don't speak of conversations in the caucus, but I can say that it was a very thoughtful conversation. We are family. I always think of caucus as friends and family where we can openly discuss important issues. But in the end of the day, our collective focus is to represent Canadians. Our collective focus is to make sure that we're improving the lives of Canadians. And what I continue to hear from my constituents is how we're going to stop Pierre Poilievre, because his politics is dangerous and his policies are reckless. And that's, in my view, what we need to focus on. Justin Trudeau has served our country as a strong leader, and what I really want my colleagues and all of us to focus on is how we're going to not allow Pierre Poilievre to become Prime Minister of Canada, because it's going to hurt Canadians.
Which is a message that you and your colleagues have repeated really since the Liberal convention more than a year ago, and yet the polling numbers still show your party is behind. Is this message working truly? Is this leadership working to convey that message?
Well, we're doing the hard work as a government in navigating through a very difficult time when it comes to Canadians, the cost of living, our economy, and all the signs are in the right directions. We're seeing that economy is growing. It's the fastest growing economy in the G7, and that's not us saying it. It's G7 saying that Canada is growing. We have seen that interest rates are coming down, inflation is down, unemployment is down. All these are positive indicators that Canadians are starting to feel as we leave behind the impact of the pandemic. But there's more work to be done, and we're not doing that work. The Prime Minister is very much committed to doing the hard work in building a Canada that works for everyone, not just a select few, and that's our focus.
But there are those in your own caucus who don't believe that he's the man to sell this message. As much as they like them, no one's expressed a dislike of the Prime Minister. They just think in many ways he's a spent brand and that Canadians aren't listening to him anymore. So how do you convince that group that they still belong in the Liberal caucus if their concerns have not been acknowledged?
From my perspective, of course they belong to the Liberal caucus. They're part of the Liberal family. And again, I can't speak for any other caucuses, but I can tell you within the Liberal caucus, we speak openly, we speak freely, we express our point of views. In the end of the day, obviously our job is to represent our constituents, and we have done. And I really do hope that we continue to move forward in unity, as one party, so that our focus remains on the needs of Canadians. I was, Michael, out just this past weekend knocking on doors in my riding. Justin Trudeau did not come at the door. People are concerned about the kind of policies that Pierre Poilievre is championing, and they want to make sure that myself and the government is doing the hard work that continues to improve the lives of Canadians.
But how do you end this division, though? Because, if you were to give advice to the Prime Minister and his team, what would you say about dealing with this significant group within caucus that are not convinced Justin Trudeau can win another campaign?
Well, I think conversations always help, and those conversations are always ongoing. I'm also fairly convinced that I think these colleagues of mine have expressed their view, and in the end of the day, they are strong members of the Liberal caucus, and they will continue to work hard to represent their constituents and all the important things that our party stands for, and I'm sure that will happen. And this is what I've said to the Prime Minister, and I've said to colleagues. I think what we need to do, and the work we're doing, is to demonstrate how Pierre Poilievre is dangerous for Canada, create that contrast. Number two, we need to provide relief for Canadians on cost of living issue, because that is still a lingering thing that people are feeling. And lastly, we have to put a plan, a vision for the future. We have not seen any vision for the future from Pierre Poilievre, and I think
But your party has published none either. Pierre Poilievre has ads just about everywhere you turn to these days that Liberals are to be seen nowhere right now.
That's what I'm saying. I think this is the work we need to do, is to really tell Canadians how we're going to make Canada even a better place to live for everyone.
Yasir Naqvi, thank you for the time.
Thank you.